All right, let's move on to the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl, 4 p.m. Eastern, Saturday on ESPN in State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. At BetMGM, Iowa State, 4.5-point favorite, over under 57.5. Seeing, look, I had a lot of questions about the Pac-12 this year. It was hard to figure out who teams were. Small sample size of games. They got a late start, and I think that a lot of these teams were behind the 8 ball kind of all season. And then seeing Colorado doesn't give me much faith in how the Pac-12 looks. The Oregon defense was pretty bad all year. The one thing that they did was they didn't really give up explosive plays through the air, but that's not really what Iowa State does. Iowa State should be able to, from an efficiency standpoint, through the air with Brock Purdy and those tight ends, move the ball efficiently, and then Breece Hall on the ground should have a day against this Oregon defense that lost a lot. And the offense, they had some good numbers, but let's look at the competition in the Pac-12. In the Pac-12 championship against USC, they wouldn't even throw it downfield. They wouldn't even trust Chuck to throw it downfield. And they're going up against a very good Iowa State defense. It's going to be hard for me not to back Brocktober here in this January. Brockuary. What do you see here?
I'm taking Oregon in this game, and I'm taking the over. I did some research.
Wow.
Yeah, I think. Listen, I've been in a casino before. I've been gambling, and when I'm on house money, it just seems to keep rolling. I mean, like when you feel peeled of any pressure whatsoever, which Oregon arguably shouldn't have been in the Pac-12 championship game, but they didn't get a chance to face Washington. That game with Washington was going to determine who played USC. They get the bye into the Pac-12 championship. They win the Pac-12 championship, and now they're in the Fiesta Bowl. They're on house money. Cristobal, Joe Moorhead, Andy Avalos, who's being pressured by Boise to come back and be the head coach there. These three head coaches should be commended for the way that they finished the season. Now, if you look at this schematically, Iowa State, and really I just kind of did this in some of my research for the Big 12 championship, and it really came up here, how they have gotten better, especially on the offensive side of the ball this year, where it's not just been take Brock Purdy in October. It's been Iowa State. You could trust them all year round. Is that they have thrown in so much more 13 personnel. And if you're not familiar with what that is, that's a 3 tight end set. And the reason why they did that is because Brock Purdy is one of the worst quarterbacks in the nation with pressure. He turns the ball over. He's inaccurate. He's just not the same. But when he has a clean pocket and he has a good look, the kid's amazing. And so they started running. Last year, I think they ran somewhere around 5% of plays were in the 13 formation. This year, 25%. 25% of plays were with a 3 tight end formation, and they're using a lot of pre-snap motion. It has given him extra time. It's giving him extra blockers. And if you look at this Oregon defense, I don't think they're right there yet to be able to stop anybody. The only thing on this Oregon defense that is a constant is Kayvon Thibodeau. Thibodeau is one of the most menacing pass rushers in college football right now. I know that Oregon's sack rate is 94th in the country, but Thibodeau is a legit monster. I think he's going to get some pressure on Brock Purdy, but at the same time, Purdy's releasing the ball a lot faster. The 3 tight end set has been real helpful for him to get points on the board. I think really, I love the over in this game. Joe Moorhead, what he's been able to do with a completely clean slate. This was the lowest returning production in all of college football this year. Moorhead steps in, a completely different scheme from Marcus Arroyo, completely different. And what he's been able to do and get Tyler Shugg, connecting their top 10 and rushing success rate, top 20 in passing success rate, top 20 in explosiveness. And that's where the handicap in this game comes, because Iowa State is 111th in defending pass explosiveness, and Oregon is 16th at getting it down the field. You better bet that Joe Moorhead is going to have Tyler Shugg throwing this ball over that back 5 of the 3-3-5. I think this game has explosive plays written all over it. And Thibodeau is going to get his shots in on Brock Purdy. I love Oregon in this game. I think there's a ton of points.
I'm going to disagree with you here. We've been on the same page pretty much. But, I mean, Oregon's defense, I don't see how they get any stops.
I don't either.
I mean, Thibodeau has to have like 12 sacks
Right.
because this defense is really bad. Now, not all of it was their fault. They had a bunch of opt-outs of pros on the back end. But, I mean, Oregon's, you say, and you're right with their pass explosive numbers, but they played Washington State, UCLA, Oregon State, Cal, USC, and they couldn't even throw it against USC. So I don't necessarily think that, it might be kind of fraudulent numbers based on the competition because Iowa State is clearly the best defense they've faced all year. So I'm not fully sold on Chuck yet. And Iowa State's obviously going up against good offenses in the Big 12.
Listen,
yeah.
If you think Texas is getting the national championship publicity, you wait till Andy Avalos tells Boise State, no thanks, I'm staying at Oregon, and Oregon returns every single player on both sides of the ball. I can't believe I'm even saying this, but I'm exactly where I was 12 months ago when you and I were in the Westgate. I am looking for Oregon futures going into 2021.
Yeah, well, I had Oregon futures, but then everyone opted out. I also have accidental Oregon State futures. All right. I probably will end up on Purdy somehow, but I'll dig into it. You make some good points.